let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal! Go, 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 go!
Six!
It's beautiful! Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Thursday, everybody. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the Rush Radio app, good to have you tuning in this morning. If you're watching on YouTube, hello, subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, and start leaving your comments in the comments section. You can follow us on X at Rush Mornings. You can follow us on Facebook, The Rush with Travis and Ross, or on Instagram, The Rush Radio Show. And if you follow us on those social media channels, about 5 o'clock this morning, I tweeted out and put a Facebook post and Instagram post of a photo that a listener sent to us. And we talk about AI on this show a lot, right, Ross? I mean, we're kind of fascinated by the AI generation of
dude,
videos.
listen, everybody, it's happening all around you, like it or not.
Yes. And so this morning, Carl Moore sent us a photo. And it is me and Ross in 30 years. And I'm going to be honest. I thought we looked good I look good for 85.
If I look like that at 77, I'm going to feel pretty good about it. I'm with you.
Yeah. But the weird thing, Ross, is I looked at it and I saw my grandpa and I'm like, oh my God, I look like my grandpa when he was in his 80s and early 90s. And I'm like, maybe this is a pretty accurate representation of what we look at. Maybe AI can really see what we're going to age like.
All right, now I got to go back and see. Oh, hold on. Now I'm hitting the wrong buttons here, Travis. I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Now I'm listening to us on the Twitter machine. Don't want to do that. Don't do that.
Do that. That gives us feedback.
Golly. I'm trying to look at the photo to see if I look. Nah, you know what? I don't look like either one of my grandpas there. I think I'll have less hair than that photo does. I'll probably be bald by that point. And I look a lot like my grandpa, my mom's dad. And so I think, I'll show you this real quick.
As Ross now gets up, grabs a photo off the wall. I'm describing this in play-by-play for those of you listening on the audio stream.
So I look like this man here.
Oh, you do? I see that. I see that.
This frame is actually made from the wood from my grandma and grandpa's barn. How cool is that?
Right?
Yeah. My cousin's husband, Steve, did that for us. So I'll look like him. Not like that, but I'll look like what he looked like anyway.
Well, let me change your mind on that, because for the longest time, I always thought I resembled my dad more than any of my brothers, right? I thought, okay, I look like a Justice. I look like my dad. As I get older and I see that photo, I go, oh, my lineage and appearance is changing to the Heidoff side and the Kisgan side. And I'm like, and in that 85-year-old photo of me, I'm like, I look like Linus Heidoff. And so I would transition from looking like my old man to looking like
Grandpa.
my mom's dad.
Love it.
Yeah. So if you want to see what the photo looks like, go to our Facebook page, go to our Instagram page, go to our Twitter page, leave comments. And Ross looks a lot better than I do, but I'm also about 8 years older than
Ross. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that we look like brothers. Well, if you saw that, you'd go, "Hey, it's Bartles and James."
Maybe that could be the next Rush. Ken Payne was talking about doing a video. Maybe we do a Bartles and James. But most people wouldn't know what Bartles and James is.
No.
And by the way, can you still buy Bartles and James?
I don't think it's still a thing.
It's not.
I think Seagram's owns that game.
Brian Duax, if you're listening right now, let us know if Seagram's is producing Bartles and James. And speaking of Central City Liquors and Brian Duax, we are probably, about a month and a half, 2 months away from the Rush.
Oh, probably still 3 months, I think. I think we're probably still 3 months out.
Well, he thought it would be 3 months when we picked it, right? And it's been about a month.
Yeah, I can check on that and find out when it was. But I think we're still a couple months away, but we do have a Knob Creek, the Rush barrel pick coming.
Yes. And that's going to be for sale at Central City Liquors. And, of course, I've got graduation season. I got a graduation party that Ross isn't coming to this weekend. But it is.
I'm going to be there.
No, don't. I gave you a dispensation. You have family obligations. Do not feel obligated.
I don't have family obligations. I don't.
You told me you had baseball?
Baseball. I don't have baseball. Eli's going out of town this weekend.
Okay.
So he's not playing baseball.
I thought you had with Audrey.
No, I have. The only thing that I have is we have the Scarlet Celebration this weekend at Prairie Meadows.
Okay.
Well, right. I mean, dude, listen, if you don't want me to come, I'm not going to get in the car and drive over there.
No, I try to be respectful of your time because I mean, how many times have you known me to drive to Des Moines for literally 20 minutes and turn around and come back?
Yeah, several.
Yeah. And I know what a pain in the butt that is, and I don't want you to feel obligated. We would love to see you. I mean, the whole family's going to be here. Abigail's going to be here. Mary's flying in tonight. I've got a concert tonight. I'm crossing my fingers because I'm promoting and throwing an outdoor concert tonight. So I'm hoping it doesn't rain, like a 30% chance of rain. I'm like, no, rain, stay away.
So Ryan says Bartles and James is still around. You know, we could also do Mogan and David.
Ooh, that's bad wine. Bad wine.
Is it wine?
I always thought Mogan and David was bad wine. I thought it was like a red wine.
I didn't even know it was wine, dude. I assumed it was the liquor that came off the souls of prostitutes. I had no idea. It's
the souls of prostitutes.
It's bad. You drink it and you feel the shame of ancestors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What alcohols? Because it's a Thirsty Thursday. Bruno's going to be in at 7:30, right? I'm wearing my Exile Brewing Company T-shirt today. What are those alcohols that are just off the souls of prostitutes? I mean, Black Velvet be one of those?
No, it's close. It's real close, isn't it? No, I think Mad Dog is kind of in a special category, right? Like Tony wrote in some of the like Colt 45. Old English, but those are malt liquors. They've got their own category. What is Mad Dog?
Mad Dog 2020, right? What is it called?
Yeah. What's the 2020 stand for? Does that give us any indication of what's in the bottle?
I always thought Mad Dog was a wine.
No, it's called Mogan David, but it's just MD, and everybody called it Mad Dog, right?
Yeah. Yeah, right. But it is Mogan and David, right?
It's a fortified wine. I don't know what that means. Known for its various fruit flavors and higher alcohol content, the MD stands for Mogan David. The 2020 was initially to signify 20-ounce bottles and 20 ounces of or 20% alcohol.
Ooh.
Though the current bottles are neither. But that's what the 2020 stood for. 20 ounces and 20% alcohol.
So no wonder we got so messed up when we took the Everclear grain alcohol and combined it with the Mogan and David Mad Dog 2020 for a little flavor. You're like, oh, you're drinking some pretty powerful stuff at that point. But I would say the Mad Dog falls into the alcohol off the souls of prostitutes.
Yeah.
Some prostitutes have good souls, though.
So you're getting ready to go somewhere there.
I was going to go down. I was going to go down because I told you to hold it for the air because you were going down a rabbit hole before we went on the air. And last night was game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Edmonton beat Florida 4-3 in overtime. It was a mad scene inside the arena in Edmonton and outside the arena. I don't know if you saw the shots outside the arena. Yeah. The crazy thing was, I don't know what time that overtime goal happened, but they went to a shot outside and it's like still daylight outside. I'm like, oh, they're that far up north to where the sun is still out, like when it's like 10:30 at night. You're like, oh, the sun's still shining. And there is something about the intensity of the Stanley Cup Finals, and the electricity in the arena, the electricity within the crowd, and the reverence for Lord Stanley Cup. The reverence. It is the most famed trophy maybe in all of sports.
Have you ever been around the Stanley Cup, Travis? Have you ever had a chance to like get your picture taken with it or something like that?
I've never had my picture taken with it. I think I've been in the room with the Stanley Cup. I'm trying to remember when that happened, but it would have been years ago when it was doing like one of those tours. But I never got my picture taken with it because I'd be like, okay, I'm just standing by a trophy. So
I actually did. I took Eli down to Wells Fargo Arena when it was here one time, and they had like a special viewing thing where you got to go into a room. I didn't realize we didn't touch it. I thought that was one of the things of like, you don't get to touch the cup until you win the cup.
So kind of like, don't walk across the logo in the locker
I thought
room.
It was just something that was, again, one of those traditions that I had heard turned out not to be true. That's only if you want to win the Stanley Cup. Does that make sense? So
you don't want to jinx yourself.
The tradition is not don't touch the cup until you win it. The tradition is don't touch the cup until you've won it if you want to win it. Didn't know that. So I would have touched the cup. I didn't touch the cup. And have you ever seen the guys that are the cup handlers? I mean, like there are stories about these dudes that are cup handlers. They literally pay people to carry around the case that carries the Stanley Cup, and they do it with white gloves. A lot of reverence around Lord Stanley's Cup, right?
Well, reverence until they win it. Then you see guys, in a pool with it, chugging beer out of it. I mean, we've all heard the stories, because what happens is, if you're new to the show, or if you're new to hockey, when you win the Stanley Cup, if you're on the team, and this includes coaches, you get 1 day with the cup. They bring the cup to you, and you get to party basically with the cup. Derek Lalonde, former coach of the Iowa Wild, got to have his day with the cup, I think 2 or 3 times. But you see more of the players who are out there partying, having a great time, and they do a lot of. I mean, the cup has to get repaired. I mean, that's what the cup goes through.
Yeah, the cup has been through some shit, dude. This thing of like the white glove service, the don't touch it. There's so much reverence for this cup. You don't even touch it until you get to hoist it above your head. And then once you hoist it above your head, thing can become toilet paper, dude. Might as well. They treat it. I had no idea. I'd heard some of these stories. CNN has a story out today about the cup. The Stanley Cup, the storied and quirky history of one of sports' greatest trophies. Now, there is some really cool stuff about the Stanley Cup. There's only one. They continue to add rings to it. You get the entire roster gets their name put on the trophy, so you literally get your name enshrined on the cup.
Hold on for a second. I didn't know this. You just told me so. So they add rings. So is the cup getting taller and heavier as it gets older?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I think so. The first story starts in 1924 when the Montreal Canadiens just left it behind. They just left it. Story goes that a car carrying some of the team had stalled going up a hill back in 1924. Players got out to push it, and it wasn't until they got farther away that they realized they'd left the trophy behind.
And in 1924, you really don't care about that. I mean, it's probably not as revered as it is today.
Right. 1987, the Edmonton Oilers won, and a guy that I would have assumed gets to write some of these unwritten rules, Mark Messier.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they had Messier, they had Gretzky, I think, on that team.
The team reportedly celebrated so hard that they damaged the cup over the course of the night and required repairs upon it being returned. So again, so much reverence for it. You don't touch the damn thing, and anybody that handles it does it with white gloves. But when you win the thing, shot. 1991, the Pittsburgh Penguins, legendary photos. Because here's another thing: cup is not supposed to get wet. That was the thing.
Because it's metal, right?
It's
I
not
mean, it could
supposed
rust.
to get wet until Mario Lemieux decides to go swimming with it.
And nothing's better for something like than silver than chlorine and all the chemicals that are in a pool.
They said, luckily, we found out that the trophy floats. 1994, we go back to the Rangers. It seems that the People's Trophy, a photo was taken of the Kentucky Derby winner, Gopher Gin, eating out of the trophy while at New York's Belmont Park. So it can be a horse trough.
Hold on. They put grain in the cup and the
let
horse
a horse come eat out of it. Reverence. Tradition. You don't touch the damn thing. But Kentucky Derby winners, they eat out of that son of a bitch.
You don't know how much this horse is worth. This is a cup worthy of a Kentucky Derby winner.
2008 Detroit Red Wings. Worse things can happen to the cup. Like, for instance, when Chris Draper had his day with the trophy, he celebrated by putting his baby daughter in the cup for a photo.
Oh.
Travis, what do babies do? Travis, what do babies do?
They poop.
They poop. She left a legendary surprise behind, using the trophy as a toilet. Don't touch the damn thing. Get your white gloves out. You don't touch it unless you want to win it. You want to win it, you don't touch it. But when you win it, let your baby shit in the thing and have a horse eat out of it.
Now, I know you, right? And I'm going to let you keep going because these are great stories. But I'm imagining you with Eli and how revered you do this. You're like, I could just imagine you. And was it at the studio or was it?
It was in the suite up at Wells Fargo Arena.
So it's the suite.
I've still got the photo.
Don't touch this. Don't touch this.
Oh, I talked to him beforehand. I was like, hey, buddy, listen, this is a big deal. We're going to go in and we're going to be with this really cool trophy, but don't touch it, okay? Here, I'll send these photos to you. And now looking back on it, I go, my goodness, why didn't I just go over there and go, Eli, you can lick the thing if you want, but be careful.
You might get an STD if
it might end up with something, but you can do whatever you want with the trophy. One guy, I do think this one's kind of cool. Again, it's not supposed to get wet, so maybe not so cool, but Josh Archibald of the Pittsburgh Penguins baptized his son in it. That's kind of cool. That one I'm actually like, good.
Put the holy water in there, then use that to rinse the water, the poop laden water over your son's head, thinking that he's probably going to be a hockey player at that point. If I'm baptizing you in the name of, do you baptize them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, or is it I baptize you in the name of Lord Stanley?
And then, quite frankly, we're lucky we ever got the damn thing back, ever. Okay? Because this thing about went Bill Belichick Patriots Super Bowl ring. In 2018, Capitals defenseman Dmitry Orlov celebrated by taking it to his hometown, Siberian city of Novaksk, in a Siberian city. The cup had made a myriad of connecting flights to reach its destination until it didn't. The trophy ended up missing for a few days. It was left behind in Moscow, and a helicopter had to be chartered in order to get it and reclaim it quickly. Putin almost stole the damn cup, dude.
Whenever they check that they're really, really nervous. Because
I'm amazed it gets checked. I'm amazed the NHL doesn't be like, hey, we bought a ticket. we're gonna put this thing on the flight with us.
Yeah, because all you have to do is get one of those fat people seatbelts.
Yeah.
And put it around the extender.
And then we've all seen the baggage handlers that just grab the bags and they're chucking them. They don't give a crap. They're just throwing. Do you think some dude has actually just grabbed the cup and without knowing it? Obviously, because it wouldn't say on it, fragile, Lord Stanley's cup inside. It would just be a case. It'd look like a Pelican case. Some guy would be like, oh, this is some asshole's golf clubs. Chuck. Wrong play.
By the way, you mentioned the Pelican case. Pelican makes great cases. If you need a case for travel, Pelican's the way.
Oh, yeah. Aren't they the only one? No, they've dominated the market.
Well, Pelican's kind of like Yeti. There's a lot of knockoffs out there, but there still seems to be something better about the Pelican.
Charlie says there are 3 Stanley Cups. Now I'm upset.
So they're kind of like the Globetrotters. You've got regional teams and you've got regional trophies.
You telling me this is like Bigfoot? This is like the monster truck Bigfoot. There's more than one? I didn't know that.
It's all one big lie to us then, right? I mean, if there are 3 trophies, there's got to be an original. I would understand that.
I think what you just said there, Trav, is the point of that's the point my brain made when I read this story. Oh, it's all been a lie. Oh, it's all been a lie. The tradition. Unlike any other.
Do you think there should be replicas? And hear me out. Because, when you win a Lombardi trophy or you win a World Series trophy, you go to said team facilities and they're on display. It would be cool to have a replica of Lord Stanley's Cup on display, wouldn't it? But
I bet. Yeah, I guess that's true. When you go down to St. Louis, you go to the Champions, I can't remember what they call it, Champions Club. You literally see the World Series trophies. You walk past them, you get your photos taken with them. They're in a case, obviously, but yeah, I don't know. I've been to one NHL game in my life, and it was for Minnesota, and of course, they don't have any Stanley Cups to display.
Would you say that because of the historical lore of Lord Stanley Cup, that it's the most famous trophy in all of sports?
I would say so. Now, that's a good question, though. I would say that the Stanley Cup has to be, I would actually say it is the most famous trophy in all of sports. What else would be the Claret Jug?
Maybe.
The Lombardi Trophy?
I think the Lombardi Trophy is, to Americans, is probably the most famous trophy now because of just the popularity of football. But I'm looking at a worldwide, because hockey is international, more so than American football. Now, even though the NHL is based in North America and there aren't any European teams, you have a lot of Russians, Finns, Swedish.
Okay, I just did a quick Google search. Most famous trophies in sports. Internationally, you were right, Trav. It is actually the FIFA World Cup trophy. And that makes sense.
That's an ugly trophy, though.
Didn't they change it? It used to be, it's like some ball on top of a twisted spire or something. I don't even know. Yeah, Ryan, World Cup globally would be the one.
But you have to consider soccer a sport.
Jesus. Here are what are the best trophies of all time. Here is a quick list that came from the EdcoAwards.com. The Stanley Cup, the Olympic gold medal, the Heisman Trophy, the Green Jacket, College Football Playoff National Championship Trophy, the Borg Warner Trophy.
What is the Borg Warner Trophy?
The Barclays Premier League Trophy and the Harley J. Earl Trophy.
I haven't heard of 3 of those.
The Borg Warner Trophy. Make sure I spell Borg right, or I'll end up on one of Ray's websites. Because it's like bong. But
yeah, I got you there.
All right. There. The Borg Warner Trophy is a trophy presented to the winner of the Indy 500.
I had no idea that was the name of the trophy. I had no idea. I knew they got a nice big trophy. I didn't know it was the Borg Warner Trophy.
Oh, that's great. All right, now for the Harley J. Earl Trophy. This is presented to the winner of the the Daytona 500. Why do they call it this? I've never heard of this. called this. It says the Harley J. Earl Trophy is the trophy presented to the winner of the premier and season opening event of the National Association of Stock Car Auto Racing. Would you have known what that is?
I knew NASCAR was an acronym. I probably wouldn't have got them all right. NASCAR is just easier to remember.
Very much so. Why wouldn't they have just put NASCAR? I could have read right through that. But yeah, the Daytona 500, the Harley J. Earl Trophy. There you go. Learn something new.
See, this is an educational show.
Sure.
So I'm starting to see that most of our listeners and commenters think we're stupid because they're like, they were giving the answers before you were even reading them.
Had no idea. Were they really? They knew when
They knew. Ross, I took your advice last night. I started getting tired, so I shut it off. But on Max, I started watching the Peewee Herman documentary.
Oh, is it good?
Yes.
I got the login, so I'm going to do that tonight.
And so much stuff I didn't know about the improv troupe that he started with in L.A. that had him and Phil Hartman were close.
Really?
Phil Hartman was part of his improv troupe before they both got big, right? And did you know Peewee Herman won on the dating game? He went on, he decided to go full just Peewee Herman. So he applied for the dating game and he got on and he did the character and won. He won the dating game. He's next to these two, thick 70s macho dudes. And then you get Peewee Herman and she picks Peewee Herman. But you kind of get the feeling that it's going to get sad, right? You kind of know when it's going to get sad. But I would say log on, start watching it, and Paul Rubin, and it's actually, I believe, Ruben Feld is his real name. But so far, so good. Because I was flipping last night, I'm like, oh, Ross said watch this. And I'm like, I'm going to go down this rabbit hole.
I've heard that. What your reaction was, I've seen a lot of people that were like, this thing is shockingly good. It's really heartwarming, and he basically got to do this before he died. It's kind of an autobiographical documentary in a way. He found a producer. He went to many producers, and they were like, "Hey, we'll do your documentary, but we're doing it our way." And he finally found a producer that would say, "Hey, yeah, you want to do this before you pass away? Sure, I'll help you out with it."
Well, I don't. So they said this during the documentary last night. He died in 2023. And they said, unbeknownst to all the people working on the show, he didn't tell anybody he had cancer. Nobody knew that he was dying.
Wow.
He knew that he was dying, and that's why he wanted to do it himself. And then when he passed away, people are like, what happened? He didn't tell anybody. So he was kind of private that way. 515-517-2303. That's the number to call if you want to have a little conversation with us. It is Thursday. That means Bruno's going to be stopping by around 7:30 to have a little conversation about the full court press establishments and everything that's going on with El Bait Shop, High Life Lounge, Iowa Tap Room, Fongs, you name it, we'll get to it. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vents, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
The Royal Mile, where everyone's a wee bit British. The Royal Mile is downtown Des Moines' living room with classic pub favourites. Pair them with a glass of whiskey or an expertly poured Guinness. It's bloody brilliant. The Royal Mile, a proper British pub.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Hey everybody, this is Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Willis Infinity. We got some great stuff going on this month. Right now, you can get up to $4,000 off on a new QX80 and enjoy 2.9% for 60 months. On top of that, this month, you can enjoy 1.9% out to 60 months, an additional $1,000 off of the new QX60. For more information, stop out at our showroom or visit us online at willisinfinity.com.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Thursday, everybody. Fast week. We say that every week, but it's flying right on by. Thanks for starting your day with us. We very much appreciate it. Ross, Rob Manfred announced yesterday that Major League Baseball will propose the challenge system for the automatic balls and strikes in 2026. We saw the challenge system implemented in spring training. And from what I was able to gather through spring training, it's very easy. It's effective. It's fast. It continues to put a lot of the decision-making on the umpire, but there's still, if you want to challenge a ball and a strike, you just tap your helmet and you go. And I think a lot of people are confused about what they see on TV because you see that little box on TV and they think that's the one. Well, Major League Baseball reiterated that, hey, their system's a little bit different in that it takes into account the height of the batter. So because everybody's strike zone is going to be a little bit different. I don't think this does anything for the fans except makes people happy when you know, it's not going to get me to watch baseball more. But I don't have a problem with a challenge to a ball and a strike.
I think this is great, Travis. This is what the technology's been there for a long time. I think they've, you know, if I want to give them some credit, they've been working to make sure it was perfect before they unleashed it. But having a gamma ray and being able to monitor when the ball, I mean, dude, we've seen it on K Zone for a long time. It's been there. It's always been, there's always been this pushback against using the technology to the advantage of these officials. It's not replacing umpires. It's a tool that the umpire, that assists the umpire. And it, by the way, it will help speed the game up. We won't have to have arguments about balls and strikes all the time. It does change the game, Trav. Like the old Greg Maddux thing is done. When you watch that Greg Maddux 30 for 30 or whatever that documentary was that came out last year, we all remember how Greg Maddux started with the 17-inch plate and ended with a 27-inch plate. He would pick a corner, slide that corner. And by the end of the day, Eric Gregg's given him he's given the left-handed batter's box as a strike zone. And it was Greg Maddux over time manipulating that. That's done. The minute that ball fades outside of that thing, umpire's butt starts buzzing or stops buzzing. No, that's a ball. Challenge it. Well, but the computer says that's a ball.
Now, Rob Manfred did say that where the system maybe has some weaknesses, because nothing's ever perfect. You're never going to get everything perfect. It was on the corners, right? I mean, it's going to be, it needs to get a little bit better, and it may be harder on the corners, but I don't think you're going to see a 27-inch plate like you just described. I think those days are done. And you think that's good for the game?
Yeah, I think, I mean, first of all, I think it's inevitable. I think that using the technology to your advantage is a great thing. We all bitch about officials all the time. Everybody at every level. Oh, the officials suck. Did you see the game? The officials sucked. Okay, well, we've got this technology that can help out the official, and it removes some of that. What? In variable factor, I guess, is something you could call it. Whatever you want to call that, ability for mistake to human error to impact the game. We're trying to limit that. I think this is great. And yeah, to be able to challenge it, it's super fast. Dude pats his helmet, it's quick. In fact, I would say this, Travis, like when you say it's not something that's going to make me watch the game, you're totally right. I'm not going to be like, oh, finally, now I can turn baseball back on. But if you've been down to the Iowa Cubs while they've had this system in place, you haven't even noticed it. To me, this is going to be like the pitch clock. Remember when the pitch clock came and people were like, oh my God, you're changing the game. You're going to make a guy work fast. You don't even notice it anymore. I mean, honestly, I think I quit noticing it the first year the pitch clock was there. So I think this happens so it just becomes part of the game. It almost looks like the normal, jittery thing that baseball players do, right? They're all up there doing their own Nomar Garcia Parra stimming thing. Well, in the middle of that, okay, did we get that call right? Yeah, cool. All right, let's go. That fast.
So, yeah, and I believe they don't even have to go to a monitor. I think the guy has an earpiece in, and they go strike, ball, foul tip, and you get 2 challenges a game. Is that enough, or do you think there should be unlimited challenges? Because
yeah, I go back and forth on these challenges of these systems, right? And I do like the idea that if you challenge and you're right, it doesn't go against you. If you show that the system is wrong, you maintain your challenge. That's how they do it in the football, right? And I like the idea of you don't just get to do this every time. You don't like a call. You don't just get to challenge the computer, and because the computer was right when you thought they were wrong. So now that's taken away from me. Not a hill I'd die on. I would let people. I could change my mind on it, but I'm okay with the system that they have.
So what we're talking about really is competition. But of all the rules that have been implemented and changes over the last couple of years, have there been any that really made that were for? I think they think they're for the fans, but have they? Because I mentioned that a challenge isn't going to get me to watch more baseball. I don't think a pitch clock, and I was totally wrong on this, and I can admit when I'm wrong. I was way off. I didn't think a pitch clock would save that much time off a game. We're seeing games in like 2 hours and 15 minutes now. A 3-hour game is it's rare to get to a 3-hour game.
Yeah.
But does that really make it fan friendly? Sure, it makes it faster for the fans, but does it do anything to entice people to watch a game on television or even go to a game? Have any of these rule changes that they thought were in the best interest of fans really done anything for fans?
So I think I could make the argument yes.
Okay.
But there's no like epiphany. There's no smoking gun that I can say, yeah, man, when you When you put the pitch clock in, you saw attendance numbers go up. They what's that old that saying that we hear a lot in politics? They're trying to steer an aircraft carrier. It's going to take a long time to turn the system of baseball. And so it's little by little, it's incremental stuff. This stuff seems like big changes when you talk about it because you're, again, changing tradition and changing what people are used to. But I think I can argue that, yes, it is good for fans because the game is faster. Now, again, no epiphany, no like, oh, yeah, see, people are showing back up at the ballpark again. But I do think over time, you're headed in the right direction, and that's a good and a shorter game. It's better for fans if it's a 2-hour game than a 3-hour game.
And I think that 245 to 3 is about right, just for the entertainment dollar, right? Because it's not cheap to go to the ballpark. And sometimes you like, did I get my money's worth?
Yeah.
I always thought 3 hours was like the perfect time for a baseball game. 2 hours for a college basketball game. 3 hours for a football game. Because you look at, hey, if I'm going to spend $40-$50 on tickets, I'm going to spend $100 maybe at the concession stand. You're paying $25 to $30 to park. You're kind of like, okay, you break that down. By the time you're there, you're like, oh, am I getting my money's worth?
Yeah.
What other rule changes would you like to see?
Boy. Travis, I didn't see any of this stuff coming. I never would have. I'm with you. I'll admit when I'm wrong. Pitch clock was one of those things. It's like, I don't know about this. I'll tell you the other rule that I was really, really against that seems to I've not noticed the impact of it at all was the 3-batter rule. That was when I was like, oh, you're changing the whole game, because we were locked into this system in baseball where lefty versus righty, righty versus lefty, play the matchups, have a lefty and a righty loose in the bullpen at all times so that you can run them out there one after another. And get your best matchups through the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings and win that game. And then when they announced that rule, I was like, oh, you're changing the game way too much there. I haven't noticed it. I like it. I'm not a fan of the designated hitter. I think that having the pitcher hit, again, just because it's the way I was raised, for no other reason than it's the way it was. I liked pitchers hitting. When you go to a game at the Iowa Cubs, do you notice the pitcher's not? No. Doesn't change the game. It, in fact, improves the game, makes it more fun. So what changes would I want to see? I guarantee you anything that I would be about to say would actually slow down the progress of baseball and that turning of the aircraft carrier that they're trying to do. I don't even know what I would say, man. I didn't want them to ban the shift. That was a good thing. I don't know.
And I'm kind of with you. I mean, and I think you'll find with most competitive teams, if your team is good, people will go to the ballpark and they'll watch. Winning at the end of the day, when it comes to sports, winning means more than anything.
It's the magic sauce.
Not the rules. The magic sauce is winning. Colorado Rockies, are you winning? The answer is no. People probably aren't going to go to your games. New York Yankees, well, you're the Yankees. But Houston Astros.
Look at the White Sox. The White Sox, when they're winning, people are showing up on the South Side. Cubs are an anomaly, and they were for decades. The Cubs were an absolute anomaly. It was a bar where a baseball game broke out, right?
But that's the exception, not the rule.
Exactly right.
You mentioned about the time you were raised, and you come to a common core of beliefs. And I realized yesterday that I fall into this category. Okay. When I was in high school, a lot of my teachers were World War II vets. And you look back at what was said in the classroom, what was taught, at the time, you're like, oh, this is just normal. Today, it would be considered extremely taboo, extremely politically incorrect, which I'm okay with political incorrectness. I have no problem with political incorrectness. But then, I'm Generation X. You always see like some of those shirts like wooden spoon survivor. Yeah, that's me. My mom busted more wooden spoons over my butt and stuff like that, and just different things like, here's a key to the house if you need to get in, at age 5, you're a latchkey kid. So you're raised that way, and you're like, okay, we tell the stories of, well, we didn't miss school when it snowed 5 inches outside. We didn't do any of that. I made the mistake, Ross, as my last daughter is getting ready to go off to college, right? So I'm going to be an empty nester here pretty soon. She's going to, Savannah, Georgia, a long ways away from home.
Yeah.
My other 2 daughters went to Loyola, New Orleans, so I'm pretty familiar with that school and its inner workings. So I decided to join a private Facebook group called SCAD Parents.
And SCAD is the Savannah
School of Art and Design.
Okay.
I'm like, you know what? This may be a way to connect, make connections, kind of find out. But, when you sign up for this Facebook group, you promise not to make negative comments. You promise to be nice. And yesterday, I'm like, what did I do? What did I do? Because the self-awareness, maybe to some, or a younger parent, is astonishing to me. And I understand that anxiety is a real thing. I understand that. People get anxious. But you also have to find a way to fight through that. You have to find a way to cope. You have to find a way to overcome that. And you also have to consider what's giving you anxiety. And I don't want to sound heartless here.
This is my favorite.
But I logged on yesterday and boom, a post from a parent. And since this isn't technically on the Facebook group, I figure I can make this, and they put it out there. And it starts by this, and I'm not going to give her name. I'm not going to go down that road. But this is what I'm walking into. It says, and they're the Savannah School of Art and Design Bees. The Bees are their nickname, right? My bee has anxiety. Do y'all know any services that fold clothes after they've been washed? She can wash them. She just needs somebody to fold them. Okay, that's not anxiety. That's either laziness or that's OCD to the point where you don't feel you can fold your clothes to the absolute.
That's not OCD. That OCD is the opposite. OCD is the opposite. OCD is, hey, you're not folding your clothes correctly, so I'm going to fold yours too.
Okay.
You hit it right the first time, dude. This is pure and utter entitled laziness. You've had somebody folding your clothes your entire life, and so therefore you've got to have somebody fold your clothes. That's the way it is. It's the way I was raised. It's the way it's always been. That's tradition.
I don't want to judge here, but when it comes to anxiety and some of these issues, again, I've had panic attacks. I've had panic attacks. But I look at some of the stuff that my kids get anxious about. I'm like, oh, we created that. As parents, we created that by doing something for them. I took a screenshot of it yesterday. I sent it to all my kids. I said, what do you think your mom and dad would say if you guys told us you needed somebody to fold your clothes? And now you're asking somebody out there in a parent Facebook group, do you know anybody we can pay to come fold your daughter's clothes? And I'm like, oh my God, what did I join?
Can I really go down a rabbit hole with you here on this? Because there's another thing that happened in there that's very important to talk about, I think. Read the very first part of it again, okay? Because there's framing without unconsciously we do this.
Okay, here's the post again.
All
my
right,
bee has anxiety.
Okay, stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. My bee has anxiety. Do you know how it's brilliant? Unconscious, subconscious, this mom or this parent did this. You create yourself as victim status.
So it's like, don't come at me.
hey guys, I'm in dire need of help here because the world is against me. My bee is having anxiety. This is framing 101. Right away. How do I get sympathy from people? I become the victim. My bee is suffering from anxiety because I never taught them how to fold clothes. They've never had to fold clothes before. They've also never had to pay a bill, so I've started a GoFundMe. If anybody could help me out with money, that would be nice. They've never driven a car, so could somebody pick them up and give them a ride? Truth is, Travis, like you said it there in what you said about your kids too. We all are doing this to our kids in some way.
In some way, we've all created this.
You don't even realize that you're coddling them, enabling. I saw somebody use that word. That's a great word for this. As a parent, you've enabled that. But again, how did that get enabled? Because look, in her post, the very first thing she says is, victim. Hey, victim here. Help. My bee is suffering from anxiety. A lot of people would have just posted, does anybody know of a laundry service in Savannah?
Yeah. Which would have been the right thing to do, right? Because then you don't go, why?
Why start it with, my bee has anxiety?
Because you want attention?
Because you've got to position it's 2025, man. Best thing you can do is be a victim. It's the best thing you can do. You're totally entitled to everything. What do you want? What do you eat? Whoa, stop. Stop, everybody. Stop. We got somebody that's dealing with some anxiety. Hold on. What's up? The post could have just said, does anybody know of a laundry service that folds laundry in Savannah? I'm going to try to solve this problem that my kid's having. My bee has anxiety. Framing, man. It's awesome. I love hearing this stuff, and you go, oh God, Oren Klaff was such a genius.
Julie puts it best, and she's not down there yet, Julie. But if you're an entrepreneur on that campus, you're like, I'll do it. You want me? I'll do it for $50 a
Great idea, Julie.
Or load, right?
Great idea.
It's the self-aware. I mean, I just sat there, but then I shared that in the family chat, right? And don't forget Abigail, who is the director of marketing for student housing at Ole Miss. She just texts back. She goes, "Oh, this is nothing." She goes, "If you knew the phone calls that I got," and she won't tell me because she knows I'll talk about them on the air. All she said was, "If you only understood the phone calls that she gets over stuff like this." You know, one of my biggest pet peeves where I really judge parents is when they don't make their kids eat everything at the table. They don't.
Oh, really?
It. Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you take it, you eat it. If you take it, you eat it. That's just the way it is.
I'm probably, you'd get really mad at me because I'm guilty of letting Audrey, if you don't like it, you don't have to eat it.
You got to try it and you got to eat it. Especially if you went through and you specifically picked it, you got to eat it. I know that's a little mean, but I will say I think my kids like all the food that are out there.
I did, and I probably should be better at that, honestly, with Audrey, because Audrey is a very picky eater. She'll get stuff, have a bite of it, and go, and I do, and there's my enabling thing, where I go, oh, okay, honey, what do you want next?
I'm getting called Judgy McJudgerton. No, I'm just saying, I don't judge you as a parent. I'm just like, man, I'll never forget. I hated like egg potatoes that my mom made. Hate them. I remember I had to sit at the table for like 4 or 5 hours before I ate them all. It just, you're not getting up. And my mom made me sit there till they were gone. Now, she never made them again because she knew I didn't like them. And another thing in our house where, again, everybody parents different. And I'm not giving parenting advice, but we'll make something. And our kids are old enough now to where you're able to make those judgments, right? And because they're all 18 or older. Here's what's for dinner tonight, or here's what's for breakfast. I don't like that. Well, then you're on your own. I don't care. You go make your whatever you want, or you go buy whatever you want. This is what's getting made this morning. And if you don't like it, fend for yourself. Either that, because that's what we're doing. Sorry if you have anxiety over it.
I really want to know what Abigail deals with now. I'd love to know what some of these.
Well, she'll be here this weekend. So if you do come down, just go, hey, give me some stories.
What do you deal with?
But I think you'd be surprised.
Disappointed.
Yes. You know, dorm rooms are dorm rooms, right? Well, at Ole Miss, the real rich parents bring in interior decorators to redo the entire dorm room before their kids move in. And dorm rooms look like Southern mansion rooms when they move in. But yeah, there you go. If you want to fold clothes, I might move to Savannah and just go from room to room, $50 a load.
I think that's a bit high, but I do think that you could. I mean, if they got the money to be hiring interior decorators for a dorm room, $50 is fine. For my baby to have peace of mind and not have to go through the anxiety of folding their own clothes.
What happens when you have to do homework? I'm having anxiety. I need somebody to do my homework for me. That's why I put anxiety on the rundown today. Ross goes, you having anxiety problems? I'm not having anxiety problems.
Yeah, I was like 5:15. I'm like, you all right, man? He's like, yeah. I go, you put anxiety on the. That's all it said was anxiety and wow or something like that. I'm like, you all right?
That made you go, wow. I read that and you went, wow. And I'm like, I regret joining this Facebook group.
Has there ever been a Facebook group you were? The Camino groups that I've joined. That's awesome because every day I wake up and I see
people walking
pictures from my walk. Like, I remember that. That might be the only one. Might be the only Facebook group I've ever been a part of that I was like, oh, this has been really beneficial.
515-517-2303. Don't forget, the Iowa Fireworks Farm is the place to get the biggest and best fireworks in the state of Iowa. In fact, it's a bumper crop of boomers at dirt cheap prices. Because when you and look at it this way, if you're in central Iowa, hell, we have listeners in Minnesota, we have listeners in Missouri, we have listeners in Nebraska. You're looking for great prices. You remember in the old days, you have to drive to Missouri? You don't have to do that anymore. You can get everything you want at the Iowa Fireworks Farm because they are ready to help you light up the sky. Get your boomers, bangers, showstoppers at the Iowa Fireworks Farm.
Just about 30 minutes south of Des Moines on I-35. In fact, just 25 minutes south of Des Moines is what they say. It's at the New Virginia exit. There's no gimmicks, just the best selection and the best value around. And again, we've talked about this. In their warehouse, when you get down there, you can actually preview a lot of the products that you're going to be that you can purchase. Climate-controlled 6,000 square foot showroom. So yeah, just a quick drive down there and support our friends.
Now, we want to give you some fireworks, so the best thing to do is go to therushradio.com. That's therushradio.com. Click on the promotions tab. Put in your name, your email, and your telephone number. That'll get you registered as we're going to give away a weekly $50 gift certificate. So we'll do that tomorrow. Will be our first $50 gift certificate. And then a grand prize winner for The Godfather, $700 fireworks mega pack that will just absolutely blow your mind. It's the Iowa Fireworks Farm, the bumper crop of boomers at dirt cheap prices. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby. You got me falling hard for you. And still, I felt this way before. You know it's true. And still, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
Hi, my name's Jerry Rodriguez. I'm a Lexus technician, and I've been with Willis about 28 years. My favorite part about working at Willis has to be my coworkers, teammates, a lot of like-minded folks with the same goals in mind, and that's taking care of the customer. We have the fishing. I enjoy fishing. We have a lot of good fishing here in the Des Moines area with various lakes.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels. There's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig, Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Thursday, everybody. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the Rush Android radio app, thank you so much. Watch it on YouTube this morning. Give this channel a subscription. Give the video a like. Start leaving your comments in the comment section. And, of course, you can follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. He's Ross Peterson. I'm Travis Justice. We're here till 8 o'clock today. Bruno going to be stopping by around 7:30. We'll find out what's going on at the Full Court Press establishments. Ross, you want to go down another rabbit hole? Because this is crazy stuff.
Yeah. You mean you got a rabbit hole?
Well, I don't know if it's a rabbit hole or just stuff that just keeps popping up. I thank God so much that, like, we didn't live in a country that got bombed during World War II or has had major. We did. There was a bomb that was dropped just right up the street from me in Dundee, but it was very rare. Yesterday in Cologne, Germany, they had to evacuate 20,500 people and, in fact, close down a hospital and clear out because they were doing some exploratory work. And lo and behold, 3 fused World War II bombs were found. They had to put a halt to everything and close everything down, bring in the Germany still has
the bomb squad.
The bomb squad that is trained to do this because of what happened back in the 1940s. And I didn't know this. There were 262 bombing missions from 1940 to 1945 over Cologne. They hammered that city. And I mean hammered it. And they just penetrated the ground, didn't blow up. And now as you start to do excavations, what's this? Oh my God, it's a bomb. Run.
Dude, I don't even know what to add. That's crazy. That's a lot of people. 20,000 people?
20,000 people.
That's a huge chunk of town where they're like, hey, everybody, we need you to leave. Why? We need you to leave.
You weren't alive when these first dropped, but your grandparents may remember the impact that these things make. You need to leave now.
Holy cow. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm glad that that's not something that
The job I wouldn't want, because you have the bomb squad just sitting there going, God, do we ever have to do it? Oh, do you guys remember what to do? Get out YouTube. I need to watch how to defuse this thing. It's been so long.
I joined the bomb squad because I thought I would be doing nothing.
Easiest job in Germany.
The guys were just talking about it. They're sitting around the house going, man, 27 years here on the bomb squad. Not one time has that siren gone.
I just can't imagine that. Digging up. What's this? Oh, dig a little farther down. You're like, I need to run. I need to run really,
I
really,
think
really
I found
fast.
a rock. I think I found buried treasure.
Isn't that crazy that you had some dud? I don't want to call it a dud because it still had a fuse on it. It just didn't blow up.
I think that qualifies as a dud. I don't know. I don't know. I shouldn't even have said that. Obviously, it didn't go off, but if they were...
Yeah, but how many times did you
It's
light a
still
lady
scary.
finger?
No matter what, it's scary.
Yeah, how many times did you light a lady? It never went off. Go pick it up. Nah, I don't think I'm going to pick it up. I'm not going to pick up the lady finger.
I'm going to kick it into the wood. I'm not going to kick it. I'm going to let it sit there. Travis, I get nervous when I'm holding a Roman candle. And those go.
Ride your bike with a Roman candle and start.
Those go. And every time it goes, I go.
I think if we were to go to the Iowa fireworks farm, I think they would tell you not to hold any fireworks in your hand.
But the Roman candle, I think you're supposed to, aren't you?
No, you're supposed to plant that thing in the ground and just let it fire up in the air. You're not supposed to point it at your buddies. We've all done it. We've all been on a bicycle, riding around, going. Poof, 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 poof.
You don't. You never watched the show Detroiters, but in Detroiters, they do the Roman Candle Baseball League.
I don't know why that just made me laugh.
It's Tim Robinson, the guy from I Think You Should Leave, is it's great.
The Roman Candle Baseball League.
Just one scene. It's hilarious. With his black buddy, he's like, he wasn't very good in the Negro Roman Candle League, but he's fantastic versus the whites.
Oh man, crazy stuff. The College Football Hall of Fame has recently changed its rules. I don't know if you saw this. It happened about a week ago. We didn't bring it up, but I want to bring it up today. You know, Mike Leach is dead, and Mike Leach was winning at Mississippi State. He won at Washington State. He won at Texas Tech, but he didn't quite have that 60% winning percentage, Ross. Didn't have that threshold to get into the College Football Hall of Fame for a coach. So they adjust the rules. And now to get into the Hall of Fame, to accommodate Mike Leach, you have to have a 595 winning percentage, which puts Mike Leach just over that threshold to get in 2027. Now, if you're an Iowa Hawkeye fan, it's also very good for Kirk Ferentz, who isn't quite at that 60% winning percentage. And I can see the look on your face, and I'm kind of like you. Should a threshold be a certain number? Because I look at Kirk Ferentz. I'm going to pull Kirk Ferentz out, start with him. The dude's been at Iowa for now starting his 26th year. That's a Hall of Fame career. Nobody stays at a school for 26 years unless you were able to win, do things the right way, for the most part, stay out of trouble. Sure, you had Rabdo and you had some other things, but at the end of the day, Kirk Ferentz is a Hall of Famer. Would that 60% really made that big of a difference? Mike Leach, look what he did for college football, just in his personality, is a Hall of Famer. And this,
no doubt. No doubt. And you're having any of these Hall of Fames shouldn't have hard, fast qualifiers. They shouldn't. There should not be a thing that says you are a Hall of Famer if you achieve this thing. And those are great metrics to say this is why you're a Hall of Famer, but it should not be this automatic threshold. You're a part of the club. You got your 60% winning percentage. There you go. You're in. Well, you got 60%, but you didn't do this other stuff. So you're not in. Well, you did all the other things, Mike Leach, Kirk Ferentz, but you guys coached at some institutions that weren't perennial powerhouses, so you didn't get to the 60, so you're not in. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And I think a lot of institutions do stuff like this. They create these rules. They think, man, we got to have something hard, fast. That way it's not just willy-nilly. We're not letting everybody in. I don't think that it ever becomes you're letting everybody in. I don't think it becomes willy-nilly like that.
I don't think it does either.
No. These guys, those two names you've mentioned, Mike Leach, is Mike Leach a college football Hall of Famer? Man, if he's not, I don't know who is. I mean, I could name probably 10, 15 coaches in my lifetime that have had the impact on college football just by growing the popularity of the game and being a character. Bo Schembechler, Woody Hayes, there'd be these iconic coaches. He'd be in that list. Classic character, winning coach, innovator in the game. Won at several levels. This is he's got a Hall of Fame resume, and changing the rules to knock it down to 595 so you can wiggle him in. That's the dumbest. That again, I love it when idiocracy kind of reveals itself. I love it. When Lord Stanley's Cup, the most revered trophy in the world, until you let your kid shit in it. Oh, it was all just fake. I got it now. I see.
And I think, every Hall of Fame has a benchmark when it comes to numbers. And I'm not opposed to it being at a benchmark, a measuring stick.
Good word for it. Benchmark. I like that.
Yeah. So you have a benchmark, but you go, okay, you're just a little below the benchmark, but let's look at other intangibles that go into it.
Yes.
And I think you and I disagree on one for baseball, and that is Andy Pettitte. Andy Pettitte, to me, he was an okay regular season pitcher. Postseason, he was a badass. And I'm like, you know what? You kind of look, what means more in the world? World championships mean a lot. And there's a handful of pitchers. I'm not saying he's the exclusive one, but if it's like Game 7 of the World Series, he would be like in one of those top 10 over. You're just like, that's the guy you want on the mound. For some reason, he did it in the postseason. So you kind of go back and forth. And you kind of go, well, okay, he didn't have the numbers on a career, but when it really mattered, the dude showed up.
It was, yeah. I mean, the Hall of Fame is such a arbitrary thing, right? And maybe that's why we come up with these hard, fast thresholds. Have to be a 300 career hitter. If you win 300 games, if you get to X amount of strikeouts, if you get to blah, 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 then you're a Hall of Famer. I'm okay with those things being benchmarks, but I'm with you. It shouldn't be make or break. And you gave two great examples there with Mike Leach and Kirk Ferentz.
So our Hall of Fames, we've never gone down this road before. Are Hall of Fames for players and coaches and leagues, or Hall of Fames for fans? Because at the end of the day, fans decide who's famous, right? And if you want said people to go visit said Hall of Fame, and I know it's an accomplishment for players and coaches, but to me, it shouldn't be baseball writers who decide the fame of somebody and their stupid little ways of voting.
You're not a first ballot.
Yeah.
I'll vote for you on the second ballot, but you're not a first ballot Hall of Famer. That stuff drives me crazy. Is the Hall of Fame for fans or for the inductees? And the right answer is both, but that's a fun thing to try to core down on.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one, who's it for? I think it's for the fans. Yeah. Yeah, if you made me pick, I'm going to say it's for the fans. In fact, if you made me pick, I would say all of it's the whole thing is for the fans. We've talked about this, Travis. We both know athletes that have made it to really high levels, sometimes professional athletes, sometimes in that minor league system. A lot of times sports don't matter to those guys. They don't care.
It's their job.
They were good at this thing, and everybody told them they were good at it, and so they did it. But you're like, oh man, dude, have you heard the thing about Lawrence Taylor and Phil Simms? Did you know Lawrence Taylor didn't know the teams he was playing against? Phil Simms told this story one time to a group of guys. Said, man, I'll tell you something about LT. Dude could play football, knew nothing about the game. We'd be preparing for a game, and he wouldn't know the name of the team that we were playing against. And the guy that's telling this story says, and sure enough, one day we're on set, and Lawrence Taylor shows up at the studio. And LT and Phil Simms go and they hug each other, and it's this brotherhood, and they start sharing stories. And pretty soon, in the middle of a conversation, Lawrence Taylor says to Phil Simms, yeah, man, we were going down to New Orleans. Who's that team that we used to play down in New Orleans? And Phil Simms goes, you're talking about the Saints. Yeah, the Saints. He didn't know the name of the team in New Orleans. That's a Hall of Famer. Who are we doing the sports for?
The fans.
The fans. The fans.
Because you and I know a lot of former players are highly revered. I think fans would be, and I don't want to burst the bubble here, but I think you'd be very disappointed on how once their career's over, they don't pay attention. Don't pay attention at all.
Some of them do. And for some of them, it's a passion and it's a love. Most of the guys that you and I have been around, Travis, because they're that way. It got over and they went, all right, now I get to live my life.
I got things I want to do.
I can finally put this stupid uniform away.
I don't have to get hit all the time. I don't have to show up for practice. I don't have to go to meetings. Some it is, you're right. Some it's in their blood. They want to keep part of it. They're usually producing content. They're on TV, do whatever that. Others just go, oh, that was a part of my life.
Yeah.
I got a bigger life to live. You know,
Dude, that LT thing was amazing to me. Didn't even know who the teams are. You know what I do? I show up on Sunday and I win. That's what they pay me to do.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
They put me here. I'm supposed to tackle said quarterback. That's what I do. That is what I do. Just saying. Did you see? I'm going to assume the answer is no, but it was a crazy, crazy way Texas beat Texas Tech in the women's softball World Series.
Didn't see it.
Texas Tech is leading Texas. They are intentionally walking a batter. Catcher standing up. She throws the pitch. She threw a strike. And the girl.
Oh, no. Trav just froze on us. Oh, no. Oh, no. What happened? What happened to the girl? We're all stuck. That couldn't have happened at a worse time. Are you kidding me?
There we go. Are we back?
You're back. That froze at the most incredible time, Travis.
I'm watching the bars. For some reason, and we were having internet problems earlier, so I apologize for that. So what happened was, where was I in the story? So
you're like the catcher stands up. She's calling for the intentional walk, and the girl throws a strike, and it froze.
And then she throws a strike, and the girl at the bat for Texas was waiting for it. Hits a single, drives in the winning run. So Texas Tech is trying to play the odds of walking somebody intentionally, and didn't get the ball far enough outside. Catcher standing up, infield's kind of lazy, throws it, and the girl just smacks it. Bad way to lose game one of the World Series. Bad way to lose.
Wow, never seen that.
Now
I shouldn't say never seen that. Because I have seen that, but not at that level.
So, and I it's been so long since I've been part of that. Like when I was coaching Little League, when we wanted to intentional walk, we just said, hey, intentional walk. We never had to throw 4 pitches. Like when Eli's playing ball now, can they just say intentional walk?
Yep. And baseball, in baseball, I think at most levels you can do that. You can just literally just say, we want to walk this guy and send him to first. I guess you can't do that in softball. I don't know.
And I get reminded because we talked about this pitcher earlier in the week. She is that $1 million pitcher, right? She's the reigning USA softball player of the year. They paid her $1 million to leave Stanford to go to Texas Tech. You had one job. You had one job.
So I see a couple of the commenters know about this, and they're saying that apparently she'd never even practiced intentional walks.
That's not an excuse. Your catcher's standing up. You have a lot of control over the ball. If your catcher's standing up and you're going to intentional walk, I don't care if you've never done it. It shouldn't be that hard.
Charlie wrote in and said, who intentionally walks in Little League? Oh, Charlie. Oh, Charlie. If you only knew, my friend. Winning is very important in Little League.
9 years and under, man. Hell, Coach Pitch probably even intentionally walks at some point. I don't want to throw this kid. He's too good. I'm going to pitch around him.
Coach Pitch, they intentionally walk a kid. See, but in Coach Pitch, it's usually the coach pitching to his own team. So the idea there would be intentionally walk the kid that you know is not going to get a hit. Kid that walks up there with his hands apart on the bat. You're like, we're going to issue him to first.
Because you know why, right? Because if he's like that, he ain't going to be a threat on the bases. He's not a threat.
I'll tell you this, that is one of the things, like, you want to see parents lose their cool. Watch intentional walks in a 10U game. Because you'll have a kid that Eli played with a couple kids that would drop bombs at 10U. Drop bombs.
Yeah, because defense is like 180.
Well,
right?
I mean, but they're big kids.
Yeah.
So kid hits 2 home runs in a game. He comes up the third time and there's 2 runners on. The coach goes, hey, we don't want to pitch to this kid. Walk him. And the same parents who are adamant that their little boys win games freak out. It's Little League. They're 10U. Let them hit. Do you want your kid to win? Because they want their kids to win.
Would you rather have your kid strike out, or would you rather have him be intentional walk? There is something I actually feel for them, because there's no better feeling than watching your kid at the plate and at least
I get it. I get it. But
take a cut.
But for a moment, this is what we lose. Put yourself in the other person's position. Remember that the world isn't about you and your little boy. That there's other people here that they've got stuff they want to accomplish as well, including winning a game. Same thing you're trying to do. And freak out because they aren't going to let your little boy win the game the way that he wants to win it, the way that because man, you really want that Instagram, right? And they do too. They want the same stupid photo and plastic ring that you do. And you don't like the way that they're trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do. It reminds me of during COVID when you would go to a park and then you would go home and you'd see people on those Facebook groups. Oh my God, I took my family to Ledges State Park. You won't believe it. Other people were there. Other people had the same idea I did, but they had it before me and they got there before me and I can't believe it. How dare they do the same thing I tried to do?
And ruin it for everybody.
Yeah. When our coach issues intentional walks, he's a genius. When their coach issues intentional walks, what kind of ass clown doesn't want to play the game with 10-year-olds? Oh, Charlie.
And it's only getting worse that way.
Yeah. And I will tell parents about this again. The water does break. It reaches a high water mark and it peels back. That intensity at about 12, it peaks, and then at 13 you see this big drop off. The farther the bases get, the more distracted, the more distant parents get, the less they're sitting right there bitching about balls and strikes. And
it's about age 13 you realize your kid's not going to play Division I or Major League Baseball.
That's a good, and maybe that's part of it too, Trav. There's this realization of like, oh, and again, another thing, you watch them move from that little field and you go, that a mortality sets in, right? You go, oh yeah, this is all going to be over. Like I got a couple more summers of watching this. What the hell have I been mad about? I've been mad because a 15-year-old had a bad strike zone? Or a 45-year-old or a 65-year-old? Some dude who was out here on a Saturday so that my kid could even play the game. I was bitching at him because from my vantage point at an odd angle 15 feet away, I thought he missed a pitch.
But at the end of the day, and I'm like this is why I try not to give, except with the anxiety and your kid folding their own clothes. I try not to give advice because you have to live it yourself, right? Yeah. It's like you could tell somebody this is what you're going to experience. Like, not me. Then you later, oh, you're right. Yeah, that's fine. You know, I was pretty intense when Owen played, and then it's kind of like that 13-year-old thing. You're like, oh, it's over.
Just want him to have fun.
Yeah,
just want him to have fun.
And Tony puts out a good point. You know, it's that 13-year-old when puberty hits hard, when your genetics apply to your child's abilities. You're not wrong. Not wrong. Not wrong.
Amen. Amen to that, brother. I feel sorry for Eli. I really do. He wants to be an athlete so bad. And I've for 15 years I've looked in the mirror and gone, poor guy.
By the way, are you taking like Rogaine or Hims pills?
No, why?
Because you sent me those pictures of you with Lord Stanley's Cup. You have more hair today.
I'm telling you.
Than you do in that photo.
Dude, I think it's stress. I swear to God. I think that I have a less stressful life now.
Wonder why.
And I even had our buddy Ross Nichols reached out to me and he was like, hey man, seriously, between you and me, are you taking like some pills or something? He's like, are you just between you and me, dude, what did you do to grow your hair back? And I said, I swear to God, my buddy Tommy Carter over at Platinum Signature Barbershop, he was the one that said, hey man, I think I can cut your hair so that it looks like you have more hair. You should really grow it out and let's see. That's all it is.
It's not but if I'm looking at that photo and you have more, it is grown in.
Yeah. Dude, there was a time I had the cul-de-sac.
Yes.
I did. I was bald here. And that's when I started shaving my head. And I had a lot of friends that were like, dude, you can't shave your head. I'm like, well, why? What do you mean? Like, you look sick. You look sick. That worked, dude. 2020, I went out to Vegas with my buddies. We're wearing, we had to wear masks and all that. I probably weighed like 140. I wore a t-shirt on the plane out there that looked like a hospital gown. It kind of had like this weird pattern to it, and it was a t-shirt. My friends, my buddy Adam Bentz, told the stewardess that we were on my Make-A-Wish trip. And she believed it. It also worked at the Bellagio. It also worked at the Bellagio or the Caesars Sportsbook. We had a table at the Caesars Sportsbook, and Bensy and I got there early, and we're sitting there, and the lady comes over to take our drink order, and Bensy, just because it was a funny joke, he's like, yeah, we're out here for my buddy's Make-A-Wish trip, and she believed it. And that's when I'm like, I gotta fix something. I'm healthy.
I'm just saying, I looked at those photos. You look really good. And
Well,
you're growing
thanks for
hair.
saying that. I appreciate it.
I can't grow hair, but I know you can, and I'm a little jealous. Rogaine. 515-517-2303. Bruno joins us when we come back on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Hi everyone and welcome to May. It's finally starting to feel like spring. I'm John Lanera, sales manager here at Willis Lexus, and this month we've got some great specials. We have interest rates as low as 3.79 on select models, and if you prefer to lease, we have $1,000 of lease cash on RX, $2,000 on ES and ES Hybrid, and $2,500 on NX Gas. And don't forget this month we've got the Principal Charity Classic coming on, so expect to see you guys out there. I invite you to stop out and take a look, or visit us online at willislexus.com.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Summer's on its way, and that means road trips, travel, and summer activity. Is your car ready? Come in now and get your maintenance done, like air conditioning, alignment, and fluid services to make sure your Land Rover is ready for everything that summer can throw at it. Schedule service online at LandRoverDesMoines.com or give us a call today.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Craft Beer Festival coming up this weekend at Waterworks Park. If you want to go to the Craft Beer Festival, I've had fun doing this. Just reach out to us on our social media channels. Slide into the DMs. Tell us you want to go. We've given away a number of tickets. We have 2 more pair to give away. So one today, one tomorrow. They just get emailed to you, and you can do it. If you don't win tickets, make sure to purchase your Craft Beer Festival tickets, because it is one hell of a party. You're going to drink some really good beer, and nobody knows that more than our good buddy Bruno. Morning, sir.
Good morning, y'all.
Bruno, can you step back a little bit so we can actually see that T-shirt? Because I think I know what that is. That's your old Tavern. So, Travis, all right. We talked about Old Tavern last week on the show a bit, didn't we, Trav?
I don't remember. I can't remember yesterday. I can't remember last hour. So to ask me to remember something that happened last week is going to be very difficult to accomplish.
Well, I apologize because my brain's kind of conflating a few different things. When we had Bruno on last week, we talked about that the historical tour that they were going to be doing at the Iowa Tap Room and above Ken's Not So Secret Speakeasy. Dude, that was so cool. And by all accounts from everybody there, the Royal Mile one was actually even neater. But the Old Tavern beer, Bruno, I'll kind of let you jump in here, dude. This is the beer that was brewed in Des Moines, and the tap room for that brew house was the Royal Mile at one point in time.
That is correct. Trying to see here. John Martin sent me a few things off too.
Well, no, John, he's doing this because John is the brewer at Confluence, the guy who owns Confluence, and he is the one that's now brewing the old Tavern beer. It's not the old recipe. It's not a recipe from the early 1900s. It's just they're using the name and making a beer that would be in that style. Is that fair?
Yes, and that's really kind of accurate. That's the same as I would argue that I doubt if Budweiser's identical to what it used to be. I mean, for starters, it can be because the ingredients are coming from a new technology in farming, say. But you can, based on what the recipes used to be, you can get it real close, and you can get it real good. Really, what you really need is a good brewer, and John Martin is the best. I had my first Old Tavern yesterday. It was amazing. It's the kind of beer that tastes great, and then you finish it, and then not that long after, it's 4.2. It kind of dissipates, and then you're like, I want another sip of that. It reminds me of all the beers that you buy in 12, 24, and 30 packs. It's amazing. They're already on their 5th batch because they took so many front end orders. It is over the top. It's over a century old Tavern beer. The brewery was going to open up did open up in 1911. I have a brochure from that was state of the art, over the top. They couldn't, you could tell just by what they were putting into the brochure. It's something like a 30-page deal. Shows pictures of every room in the whole brewery, what it does, why it's the most technologically advanced of its time. And then in 1915, it went out of business. But it's a 100,000 square foot building. I mean, that's a ginormous building. And at the time, you were not allowed to drink beer at the brewery. So they needed to have a tap room, and the tap room was the Royal Mile.
So would this be considered craft beer? I mean, because when I think of craft beer, I think like, the IPAs and stuff like this. Is this let's be honest, all beer is craft because it's a craft to make it. Some can do it in mass produce, but is this a craft beer?
Well, I would tell you that actually it is craft beer because it's not factory made. I mean, the technology's there, but it's not made in ginormous amounts. Factory beer, your Bud, your Miller, your Coors, that kind of stuff are all made in humongous factories that would flood an entire neighborhood if the beer vats exploded. I mean, they're enormous. They're made with science. Their brewers are more scientists than brewers. And so craft is a technical term that you can only produce so much or you're not craft. That, of course, is kicked up over the years, and so that word's diminished a little bit. But John's little brewery, compared to any other one, is a craft brewery for sure. And what they do is craft beer, and what they've made is an amazing beer. They always make good beer. I knew they'd make a good beer. But this beer, I'm going to tell you, it's going to take Des Moines by storm. I can see a lot of people setting down the beer that they normally drank and pick this. And Ross, you talked about the architectural, the historical happy hour we did at the Royal Mile and Iowa Tap Room. Well, we did that in conjunction with Ryan Ellsworth, who works with us he's an architect, but in conjunction with the Iowa Architectural Fund. And before the first beer was sold, John had commitments enough to where I kind of talked him into this. They are giving $5 per case back they're donating $5 per 12 pack to the Iowa Architectural Foundation, up to 5,000. They've already done that. They are ready to give. They've already sold 1,000. John was talking about he's talking to a guy at Fairway. He tasted the beer. He liked it. He bought 20 cases for that Fairway. He said, I'm buying 3 myself. I think I probably should order more. And John says that's happening everywhere.
So what's going to sell the beer more, the taste or the can? Because I mean, I'm looking at your shirt right now because marketing's part of it, right? And also, let's not crazy or kid ourselves. Where you're at on the shelf is a big indicator of that. But is the branding in the can really cool? Because I look at your T-shirt, I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's History Rebrewed. It's I was surprised how much money was put into the marketing and putting together the 12 packs, the billboards, potential billboards, the point of sale stuff that they're going to hand out and show. Everything about it is over the top. You'll see there's a tent at Craft Beer Fest this weekend that's decked out with the Old Tavern logo and all. You'll be able to see exactly. It's got the label going down the back. The whole 10-foot is just the big label.
Bruno, will people be able to buy like those T-shirts at the Craft Beer Festival or even at Confluence? Or
it sounded, yes. So I believe that about 4:00 on Friday, you'll be able to go to the brewery. You'll be able to go to the bait shop. You'll be able to go to Fong's. You'll be able to get this beer in a lot of our places. John and I work together. We've been working on this for a decade. I brought it up 2015-ish and said, hey, you should do this beer. This should happen. This is before we even knew the Royal Mile was the tap room for the place. We're like, this would be fun. We should do it. He looked it up. We looked it up. There was a trademark was held by a copyright. So they're like, oh, we can't do that. So we kind of went, found a guy, knew about it, but just like, it's not going to work. I hit him up late last year and said, hey, I saw the copyright has been forfeited. They've abandoned it. What do you think? You should do it. And I'm surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised John's doing it, but he's very slow to act. He doesn't like to just do stuff. And admittedly, from like October to now is not fast, but it takes a while to put it together. And between he and I, he was like, yes, let's do it. Let's get on it. And then in between, we did that historical happy hour with all the information about the brewery I did not know. And the owners owned the brewery and owned the Royal Mile at the time, so that's where they had the tap room. And then their logo was a fox hunt, which is what you have in a British pub. We have all these fox hunts, and you just pull it all together. It's crazy how it came together. It's a community, it's history, it's Des Moines, all packaged in one little can.
The historical happy hour thing, Travis, it was such a cool walk through not just the building's history there with the Iowa Tap Room, because it sits in a really interesting spot that for almost a century was just an industrial area there on what we now call the East Village, but it actually was like West Des Moines is its own town, right? We all know Des Moines and West Des Moines. At one point in time, East Des Moines was its own town.
Well, I would also argue that I would say that it's more like 150 years. There's a building. There's a building down the street from the Fong's. It's called the Market Building. It is Civil War times. It was built before the Civil War.
When they first put the fairgrounds down there, it's incredible how the history of that area impacted the fairgrounds and even what the fair is today. So when we think of the fair, a big part of the fair is you go there and it's basically like an industrial commercial. You know what I mean? You're walking around, a guy's selling you mops and a guy's selling you hammers and a dude's selling you hot tubs and all sorts of stuff. The fair has always been that. But 150 years ago, they didn't have all these industries that came to the fair. What you did was you came to Des Moines, but then you toured the east side. You toured East Des Moines. And you saw all these different big factories that were being built, and they were trying to lure businesses to come to Des Moines. If you were a business owner, come to the fair.
So it was a trade show.
It was a trade show. It's always been a trade show, dude. And like you see the names that were involved with this thing 150 years ago, and it's Des Moines names. It's the Campbell family. It's Ingersoll. It's Hubble. You're like, whoa, this is amazing. The dude that owned that. I'm sorry, Trav, you jump in here. I'm sorry.
No, because what you're saying is, and going back off the old tavern, and I know we talked about it briefly last week because it's coming back to my memory now. All of a sudden, it's
it's there, yeah.
But it's no different than Templeton. You can have something that's the greatest product in the world, but if you don't have a story that goes with it, it becomes maybe not as appealing. The story that you're telling there, Bruno, adds to the mystique of I want to be part of that story. You're bringing somebody into it.
I just feel like that the Templeton story is more like the Ruthie story.
Yeah,
is that because you can't go to the place where Ruthie is and go see her anymore. You can't go to Templeton was made in farms, and it was all it was illicit. There was no Templeton Distilling Company back in the day. This just takes it to another level where there's a physical like space where you can go see this thing existed. And then when you start looking it up, there's so much of it around that that there are just tons of it out in the world. And that's what's exciting to me. And I wanted to mention, if you want to know more about this, go to oldtavern.beer and you'll see the whole story. My friends at 818 Design Empire put together this whole thing. They do most of the marketing for John at Confluence. Rachel and Melissa pulled this whole thing together, did this really thing. They have a passion for beer, and they took it to the next step and took it to the next level and really knocked it out of the park. There's also, I know video, we're on the radio, but I have wooden nickels that are good for a free pint. There's going to be 700 of those out in the world. You can give them out to wherever, and anyone that sells it, you can turn it in at a place that sells Old Tavern beer. That is as good as cash. The next time they come by to deliver more beer, they will give John money back on those wooden nickels. And like I said, there's POS. There's a little shiny. It's terrible. You can't see it, but there's a little button that we have.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. And we're going to have it at every one of our places. We're doing the Nash. It's going to be the beer for the patio at Fong's this weekend. It's going to be, there's a kickoff at the Royal Mile. We'll have people from the brewery at the Royal Mile tonight or on Friday night. There's also going to be people at the brewery. Of course, you go to Confluence. They're doing a big kickoff for it. I can't say about T-shirts, but I would say you could probably get them there because I said, hey, could I get a T-shirt yesterday? They came back with this. So yeah, the first package is 120 barrels canned, and much of the beer has already been pre-sold. They have 1,350 cases of 12 ounce. They have kegs available. The first run is equivalent to 40,000 12 ounce beers. The first run, they've decided,
and that's sold out.
Yeah, so they've decided they've got 5 already in the chute. They're already working on 5 more batches that big. It is. They were surprised how they weren't surprised it was going to be well received, but they're surprised how well it was. And I mean, if you think about it, you go to a fairway that says, I'll take 20 cases. If that's a dud, that's a lot of beer to have to move around, shuffle, and try to get people to buy. If it sells at all, 20 isn't anything. How fast on a Friday to see people walking in and out of a Hy-Vee walking out with a 12-pack or 2,
Okay, I'm going to throw – this is just a basic lager, right? Is that what we're talking about, a lager here?
Yeah, it's like if Busch Light was good. No,
Okay.
I'm just kidding. No, it's if Busch Light was made in a small batch in Des Moines, Iowa. It's essentially that beer.
And this would probably be a question for John, but you know him. Are brewers disappointed by this? Because they like their creativeness, like their different styles of IPAs or different. When they get so much attention over a lager, do they get disappointed by that, or do they go, "Oh, it's selling. That's all that matters."
Man, I can't stand all that money we're making on this. No,
well, I don't do it for the money, man. I do it for my passion.
No, but to your point, there are certain beers. My favorite beers are the ones that you can't just trick. Like I remember going to a brewery in St. Louis, and every beer, my friend who owned Urban Chestnut, he's like, "Hey, look at the menu. Show me the one that doesn't have a flavoring in it." I'm like, "Oh yeah, there's one." He goes, "Yeah, you want to know why? Because they have to put something in there to make up for the mistakes they made when they brewed. When you make a lager, Helles beer is my favorite. Means bright. It's a lager, German. I also like Kolsch, which is similar. I like those beers, but there's no you make a mistake, there's nothing to hide behind because it's just really plain. So to do a good job and make a beer that good at a 4.2% alcohol by volume is not simple. It's not easy. You can't just trick the customer. It has to be a really good beer, and he's making 5 more batches of it, so it also has to be the same one when they grab the first one. And there is a lot to that, and I think any brewer is a little worried that most of their beer turns into one thing, and that they only sell one thing. Let's call it Fat Tire from New Belgium. They had a hard time trying to get people to buy other stuff because all anybody wanted was Fat Tire. You see breweries, diversify and try to get other things going. This thing really fits into John's portfolio. It's gonna be a good one for him, and everyone can have a lager for sale. He also has Des Moines IPA. He also has, I mean, he did 52 beers in a year over the last couple of years. I think he's trying to dial it back some and get some of these where he can sell a lot more on volume. So
all right, can we go? I want to go back and talk about some fun stuff that came up in the Des Moines the historical happy hour that happened. So Trav, that building over there that the Iowa Tap Room is in, it's been a few different things. It doesn't quite have this incredible colorful history that the Royal Mile building did, but it does have some really cool stuff. And sitting in that room, this is why I would encourage people to come to the next historical happy hour that Bruno does, because guys from the Des Moines Historical Society are in that room, and they're just there watching like us, right? But man, there's so much information in that room. There's so much historical knowledge of Des Moines sitting there. So while they're doing the presentation, they're talking about one of the men that owned that building for a period of time. He ran a manufacturing company out of there. And one of the guys from the Des Moines Historical Society is like, hey, I knew the guy that owned this building. Like, really? Because, yeah. I actually filmed some of his workout videos back in the 60s. Huh? He's like, yeah. This guy was kind of like a Jack LaLanne type of character.
I was going to say, was he Jack LaLanne?
I mean, they didn't say that, but that was the impression I got, wasn't it, Bruno? Like,
yeah, it's Mr. Dilly.
Mr. Dilly. And it was the Dilly Manufacturing Company owned the building for a while. He actually died in the building. Allegedly. We don't know for sure, but that Kent Newman said he saw him getting hauled out on a gurney, zipped up. So I'm guessing pretty good idea.
He wasn't waving to the crowd when he got wheeled out of there.
But one of the guys is like, yeah, I was part of the film crew that filmed this guy's workout videos back in like the 60s.
He reminded me. He filmed me one other time. That guy is a videographer in town, and I do remember him. It's funny. So John said I took the beer out to this guy in Des Moines or Hy-Vee, and he's like, "Oh, I have a bottle of that." And so he said he was surprised he had the bottle of it. But then I asked the guy, the videographer, is like, well, "Who was that?" I go, "That." He goes, "That's Chris Clucky." I'm like, "Of course it's Chris Clucky. He's a guy I've known. He was one of the original guys that opened Court Avenue Brewing." And then he started asking, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that you see." And there's people that have the exact same date stamp on it. I'm like, just because this guy told me, they found a case of it and they started handing it out to everyone that thought it'd be cool to have a bottle of this beer. So there's 24 people in Des Moines that have this bottle, and then he still has the wooden case it came in, and super cool. It's so much fun. The historical happy hour at the Iowa Tap Room was a little bit less because those businesses lasted for decades. One interesting fact about that place, though, is that the tap room itself was the old style beer distributorship until it caught fire in '49, which is kind of a cool history because it once was a warehouse for beer, and now we sell 120 beers on tap there. Beer does come around. It's in the hearts and minds of everyone. It's a fun thing. This Old Tavern beer is like liquid Des Moines history. There's a story behind it. There's several stories behind it. It's not made out of thin air. It's got organic oomph to it. I think it's going to be amazing. There's other beers that say, hey, we're, like the Kelsey Brothers garage beer. Yeah, you've had a garage beer too. They put a name garage on it. And I love the Kelsey Brothers. I'm going to drink that beer. It's a gimmick, I don't want to say Ruthie's a gimmick because I love the whole story, but it was High Life she was pouring. But that whole story is great. RJ's done a great job. The Terces have done a great job with that. But you have these beers, a neighborhood beer. Well, neighborhood, everyone has a neighborhood. I guess that's something. But when you got Old Tavern and there's a building that has it painted on the side, and I'm here in the Drake neighborhood, and up the street on 34th Street is where the Mattis family lived. That was their mansion. It's the only one with a brick sidewalk wall right up against the wall. So there's even history in my neighborhood for that. And then and then you got that big brewery, and you got John Martin, and it's just, to me, it's just fun. And these historical happy hours don't just happen every now and again. They're doing these tours all summer. You can sign up and go get those done.
I'd encourage. It was fun. It was a little over an hour. I learned a ton. Met some really cool people, and had some really fun conversations about the history of Des Moines. And even right now, because the Dilly family was a very popular East Side family.
Well, he ran for governor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My buddy just wrote to me. They lived in a big brick house right by Grandview Park.
There you go.
It's such cool stuff.
There's
Bruno,
so many things. See you at the patio party at Fong's tonight. See you this weekend at the Brew Fest. I'm gonna have to push to head a story about Jell-O next week.
Oh no, you had a Jell-O story?
Yeah.
Save it.
Buried the lead, dude.
It's all right.
15th annual craft beer fest. Last year they had more people attend than ever before. I'm imagining gonna see the same this weekend. The weather's looking great. Gonna be a good time. Mindy's putting it together. Of course, it's gonna be a great party.
Exactly right.
All right, Bruno.
Follow
Thanks,
me,
buddy. We'll
buddy.
catch up next week.
You bet.
See ya. Bruno joining us. Speaking of the Iowa Craft Beer Festival, if you do want to go, just slip in. I saw somebody earlier, Steve and Sarah said, love Craft Brew Festival tickets. Don't do it on the chat. Go sneak in on
Now, I did
on the
see
Facebook.
on Twitter, our buddy Eric Rhodes had wrote to us yesterday and said, "Hey, I'd like to get tickets too." So I think
I don't know if I sent him yesterday or not. Somebody did. Somebody got some tickets.
All right, good.
Yeah. Best way is just to message us. Go. Because you know what I've noticed on our Twitter thing? Like mine, if somebody adds us, it doesn't always come up, but it's very frustrating. It's like, or it'll pop up like 4 days later. I'm like, where was this 4 days ago when it was supposed to be there? So, all right, Roscoe.
See you, buddy. Have a wonderful Thursday. I'm gonna go golfing.
The good news is you don't have school today. You don't have to you don't have to hop in the car and take off, which is really, really nice. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Enjoy your Thursday, everybody, and we will be back with the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
Hey everybody, Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Mini of Des Moines. We got some great things going on this month. Right now you can lease a brand new Countryman for as low as $369 a month for 39 months. Also, we're running a 3.99% at up to 60 on all models, excluding the convertible. Also, you can lease a new two-door hardtop as low as $299 a month lease. If you have any other questions, come visit your favorite motoring advisor or visit us online at miniofdesmoines.com.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time homebuyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Spring is here. It's pothole season. Potholes can wreak havoc on your suspension and alignment. If you come into Willis Chevrolet during the month of May and mention this video, we'll check your alignment for free and give you $30 off if you need one. Give us a call or schedule online today at willischevy.com.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.